everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Globe interview series. This episode is special because it's coming at you from Zebu live in London. And today I'm delighted to welcome onto the show Benyamin Ahmed, founder of the Weird Whales NFT collection. Now, on to the interview. So welcome to the show, Ben. Can I call you Ben?
Yes.
Perfect. So, can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you entered the cryptosphere?
So, I've always had a background in coding. From a young age, my dad, who's a software developer by day, he would often come home, bring out his laptop and start coding. And obviously, me and my brother would constantly see him on his computer typing out this coding language. And that was a trigger to us. We wanted to learn more about what he was doing, as this was his passion. This is what he loved. And over the next few months, he got us on a daily coding regime, and we started doing a coding challenge. So every day I do a coding challenge, and I still do that to this day. In terms of Bitcoin and NFTs, I was born in 2009 and the Bitcoin white paper came out in 2008. So I'm not saying I was fully aware of Bitcoin at age 1, but it's something that's always been there in the background. And in 2012, my dad's friend organized the first Bitcoin meetup in the Midlands. And through this, he traveled around Eastern Europe and made loads of new friends and contacts and got to know some big Bitcoiners like Adam Back. And last year, that same friend of my dad, he also bought an NFT called a Rare Pepe for $27,000. So obviously when I heard this, it was a spark. I wanted to get into the space. I was curious how someone was willing to spend this much money on a JPEG, and I started researching.
Yeah, so now you've researched into it. It's more than a JPEG, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so let's go into that. And what about NFTs interest you the most?
I'm really excited by the utility of NFTs. I'm excited for the use cases such as ticketing, decentralized science, how eventually everything will move to NFT rails, as what NFTs allow is digital property rights. So in thousands of years, when we look back at the start of the internet, the first 30 years where we didn't have digital property rights will be seen as the prehistoric ages.
You were talking about your coding skills, right? So how much technical knowledge does one need in order to, let's say, mint an NFT?
So back in July last year, there's mainly 3 components to launching an NFT project. The first is obviously creating the art. If you want to create an NFT project of thousands of NFTs, you need to create multiple traits, put them together in this Python script, which generates your NFTs for you. The second step is the smart contract, which defines all the variables about your collection. For example, the collection size and the link to where the image is stored for your NFT. And the last is the website that links all of it together, where users can have an easy minting experience. And back in July, obviously, that required a whole host of different skills in terms of programming. But through the NFT space and how it has evolved and how many people have joined this space, there's now loads of resources online such as fair.xyz, which handle everything for you. So it's a no-code experience.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So obviously you're the founder of Weird Whales NFT collection. So how have your family and friends kind of supported you in this time? Because it's such a wildly successful collection. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, the support has been amazing. My dad has obviously helped nurtured me through this space. He's a software developer, but also my mum. I don't really talk about her in interviews, but she's also a great inspiration. She's a teacher and she's always led me to a prosperous life, one with education. So I have a very supportive family, and also my brother who's there with me, who's a great programmer as well, and I hope to build a business in the future with him. And in terms of my school and my friends, at the time, my friends congratulated me when they saw my story on the BBC and CNBC. It was hard to keep it away from them. And I remember I was in the car park waiting for my dad to pick me up, and a teacher came up to me and said they started investing in crypto and NFTs after they heard about my story, and they'd already made £500 and they were buzzing off this.
Wow. I mean, I hope you preface everything by saying this is not investment advice.
Yes.
Like, you don't want that on your shoulders. Yeah, so could you tell us a bit about the Weird Whales community then, and what do you like most about the community?
What I love about the Weird Whales community is that there's a variety of different people in it, all with different skill sets. So there's some people who want to remain doxed, anonymous, but we've also got some great leaders in the space. For example, a few months ago, I realized that the CEO of MoonPay, Even Soto Wright, had a weird whale, and I've been talking to him on Twitter. So it was great to see his talk at NYC and then come back to London and figure out that he holds a weird whale.
Awesome, that's really awesome. So, like, what kind of upcoming projects do you have at the moment? Because I know I was looking on your Twitter and you've got all these hackathons coming up. So yeah, let's have a talk about that.
So I had sold out on Weird Whales, and a few days later, V, who's this radiologist from South Africa who sent me that Python script I talked about earlier, which you used to generate your collection, he proposed the idea of another collection, but this time we worked with designers and artists who've previously worked for the likes of Marvel and DreamWorks. And we worked a few months on this collection, and it sold out within 7 minutes on the public sale. That was obviously a big improvement for the few hours on the Weird Whales. And this collection has done some amazing stuff. We've got a team, we've got a new CEO who's recently sold companies, and we've launched our own token app, we've launched our own game, we've launched our own comics, and we've also signed a deal with William Morris. So we're trying to push our NFTs into the mainstream media. So that's non-fungible heroes. Another project I'm working on is called Work in Fintech. And since I sold out my collection, I understood that I was in a very fortunate position. Not many people have the same access to resources, and they're not grown up in the same environment. So what Work in Fintech aims to do, we aim to sell NFTs to corporates rather than to consumers. So Work in Fintech is the first B2B NFT. So we'll sell NFTs to companies. That money we use to raise from selling those NFTs, we then help to educate people interested in this space for free. We host internships, work experience days, and currently we're trying to scale up that Work in Fintech over the past few months. And another project I want to talk about is called Non-Fungible Films. So there's a Hollywood actor called Cameron Mullen who's big into the NFT and Web3 space, and he started his own film and entertainment studio, and he's launched different NFTs such as executive producer passes, and you can find them all on OpenSea, and he's aiming to also bring NFTs to the big screen.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So does that mean people who own the NFTs get a say in how a film is produced?
Yes, they can license out their IP, and maybe one day they'll see it on on Netflix.
Oh wow, awesome, awesome. It's very impressive that you're working with all these industry heavyweights, let's say. How does it feel to be, in year 9 and to be working with all of these types of people?
So Web3 is what I truly enjoy. I don't see this as work. I see this more as a hobby, and I like to say that if you do something that you enjoy for the rest of your life, you'll never have to work again. You'll become unbeatable, because someone who sees something as work will be thinking, oh, I have to do this. But if you see this as a hobby, you say, I want to do this. So obviously what I'm doing with Web3 and NFTs and how I'm making all these contacts across the globe is what I truly enjoy.
I love that for you. So where do you see yourself in about 5 years?
I'm often asked this question, and currently I just want to educate myself truly about this space. I want to embed myself within the space, as in 5 to 10 years, the real infrastructure businesses will be built around problems within the space. I'm bullish on Web3 problems, as if you spot a problem, you can then monetize that problem and help the wider world. So in 5 to 10 years, hopefully I know about this space. I'm still planning to go to university, and in 5 to 10 years, if a problem comes in mind, I might have to reconfigure my choices.
Obviously you'll still be in the Web3 community, but how do you think it will change in that time?
I definitely think that we'll see some mainstream adoption over the years, as the Web3 space right now is very clunky. You know how hard it is to set up a MetaMask wallet, and there's all these scams out there. But over the years, eventually the user experience will become more friendly, and we can onboard the next 1 million or so people to NFTs, or 1 billion or so people.
Absolutely. And it's only a matter of time, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So what would you say is your advice to anyone wanting to delve into the blockchain industry?
Recently, I spoke to Robbie Young from Animoca Brands, and he said that NFTs, Web3, culture, entertainment, they're passion industries. So you've got to have an underlying passion for the space. Web3 has to be the thing that wakes you up at night. So if you're not interested in Web3 coding development or all the other skill sets involved within the Web3 space, find something that you do enjoy, because like I said before, you'll be doing this for the rest of your life, so you definitely want to enjoy it.
Absolutely. And what would you say to the skeptics?
With the skeptics, I think there's an educational barrier. They just see it from the outside. So if you see it from the outside, NFTs, you think, I can just screenshot this. But if you start learning about this space, you know that there's an underlying blockchain which you can then verify the authenticity of each NFT. So it's a matter of teaching the skeptics about the space.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what we're here doing, right?
Yes. If you're interested in Web3, definitely first learn about this space. There's lots of people that come to the space because of the speculation. They want to get in on the price movement. But if you have your mind focused on education, in 5 to 10 years, you'll be able to spot the real problems and make the real money.
So we're sitting here in Zebu Live at the moment. So as I understand, this is not your first crypto conference, right? So how are you finding it?
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this conference. I'm speaking later today about Web3 data and analytics, and at the start of my journey in going to different conferences, I would speak about my story, but over time I'm progressing to topics that have interested me. For example, I'm interested in avatars and community building, so I think next week I'll be speaking at the University of Oxford at Magdalen College about avatars and community building. As if you try to learn about something, you'll push yourself to research more about it. So I'll definitely be exploring different opportunities and what interests me at the time.
Of course. And actually, to speak more on the Oxford lecture, so you are the youngest Oxford lecturer. How does it feel to speak in a sea of scholars?
It feels great. I spoke at Oxford last year, so I have a friend who I've made online. Sorry. I've got a friend who I made online, and he said he was trying to explain NFTs to his housemates, but they just couldn't wrap their head around this NFT technology. So he definitely wanted to get me to come down and speak, and I spoke about my journey and why I'm bullish on this space and how NFTs lead to the metaverses. In order for the metaverse to be built, a key layer of infrastructure where ownership can easily be identified has to be built, and that's where NFTs come in. So you might have different centralized metaverses, but you'll be able to take your assets from one metaverse to the other without getting attacked or your assets taken away from you.
Of course. Yeah, so actually, how is the kind of sentiment on blockchain and NFTs within the kind of, let's say, scholarly circles?
I'll definitely say that the scholarly circles, they've definitely got their minds open, especially people who are just about to leave university, as they've got I think my generation will adopt NFTs quicker than my parents' generation, as we've grown up buying digital assets, for example, V-Bucks in Fortnite or Robux in Roblox. So NFTs and buying digital assets that you can own and interact with and all this interoperability will definitely seem like the norm to my generation.
Absolutely, and it's so interesting to see how things will move forward.
Yes, I just want to say I'm really excited for the future of NFTs and crypto.
Yeah, absolutely, as we all are.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give us a like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much, Ben, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.